The Bush administration opposing congressional efforts to put pressure on communist China over its so-called free trade and currency policies. Policies that have cost thousands and thousands of Americans their jobs. As Lisa Sylvester now reports, this is an issue being closely watched by American industry trying to find a way to sell its products to China.
In Billings, Montana, at the Pays auction yard, ranchers bid on cattle. Here, beef is the way of life. But that could be jeopardized by actions taking place thousands of miles away. Like other U.S. industries, cattle producers are feeling the heat from China.
Because their currency is devalued, China can export that beef for far less than what we can afford to produce it. And as a result, it gives the Chinese cattle industry a tremendous advantage over U.S. cattle producers.
In addition to currency manipulation, China has been subsidizing its cattle farmers, hoping to become a player on the world market. The U.S. Treasury Department has been gently nudging China to level the trade field, but patience is wearing thin on Capitol Hill.
It's a little bit like the government saying, yes, American workers and businesses are being cheated, but we don't yet have the backbone to actually do what it takes to make it stop.
The Senate Banking Committee passed a bill Wednesday that would make it easier to target countries that manipulate their currency and seek remedies. A bill in the House calls for countervailing duties. Free trade advocates fearing congressional action are running ads in national newspapers as part of a lobbying campaign. They warn the anti-China measures could tip the United States into a depression.
One thing to argue the argument with undergraduates who've been misguided, but quite another to have to argue this argument with people who seek the mature adult responsibilities of being a member of the United States Senate.
But the bill's proponents say when China hands out subsidies and manipulates its currency, that's not free trade, just the opposite. The proposed offsets are designed to help U.S. workers, producers, and farmers correct the imbalance.
A Senate staffer said that unlike in past months where there has been a lot of bluster and talk, this time the train is moving. Congress is intent on pushing a bill to address this issue that could end up on the president's desk. Lou?
What exactly was Congressman Army trying to say there?
He was essentially taking a dig and essentially taking a hit at some of the senators there. Army, who was an economist before he got to Congress, is saying free trade. And he is beating that drum of the free trade mantra, saying it's one thing to argue with college kids, but he thinks that senators should know better.
Well, they should know better, but so should he. The fact of the matter is 31 consecutive years of trade deficits. A trade debt for this country that is rising faster than an already astronomical $9 trillion national debt. And what I can't quite figure out amongst these geniuses who are so-called free traders is why do they think that about a 35 to 40% undervaluation of the Chinese yuan to the dollar is free trade? Why did they think 25% duties and tariffs on American products entering China is free trade? I'm a little confused by these geniuses, and I hope that maybe they'll be glad to explain that to us over the course of these weeks ahead here so that we can catch up with their brilliance.
You know, that's a very good question, Lou, because they say that it's free trade when the United States is getting hammered, but when it comes to correcting the imbalances, suddenly that's not free trade.
Yeah. Basically, I think people are starting to realize, and certainly a lot of people in Congress, to their credit, that this nonsense, this mantra that has been drummed up by corporate America and Wall Street is pure poppycock and really, really bad economics. And to blame the Chinese for the idiocy of our own policies is completely incompetent on the part of our national leaders, whether Republican or Democrat, or in the White House or Congress, or even like Dick Armey, an employee, if you will, of Wall Street. Thank you very much, Lisa Sylvester.